Isn't it crazy what a difference a year makes? I mean, this time last year, we're watching Wicked. I'm singing Popular. And then I'm singing Defying Gravity. You will not hear me hit that high note. And it was still acceptable to shop at Target. But hey, fast forward a year from now, and Wicked for Good is hitting theaters this weekend. And oh boy, what a difference a year makes indeed. Because I've got some bad news for you guys. Wicked for Good is not very good. And I'm going to tell you why in today's review. So let's get started. Put the pitchforks down. Put them down. Well, what's going on, you guys? James here with another real review. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about with today's review, which is all about Wicked for Good. Huge thank you to Universal Pictures for giving me the chance to watch this early in theaters for this review. My screening was a Dolby Cinema screening, and I don't know why, but it did not feel like it. Maybe that's something to do with the movie, but it just felt like the movie could have been played in any other format. It just, maybe there's a little bit more boom, and that's not something I say often because Dolby Cinema, that format is pretty cool. But today, we're talking all about why I just didn't like Wicked for Good. I wanted to like it, okay? Fine. But I'm going to get into all of my thoughts and much more. But if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you do too, hit the big red button down below for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 31,000 subscribers before the year ends. And hey, guess what? Leave a like and a comment if you've stayed around even this long. And let me know what you think about Wicked for Good. If you liked it, tell me why. If you disagree with me, tell me why. But if you also agree with me, please just tell me you do, because I might be alone on this island. So if you don't know much about the movie, y'all, let's get into it. The film is coming in at a whopping 2 hours and 18 minutes, and I say that because it feels like it's 4 hours long. The movie is in theaters November 21st, which is this weekend, and it's directed by Jon M, who also directed the very first film, Wicked, but he also directs some of my favorite movies like Crazy Rich Asians. It's such a great film, and I actually did like In the Heights. And the film itself, so Wicked for Good stars a huge ensemble cast, just like the first, with some fresh faces like Coleman Domingo voicing the Cowardly Lion. He's like hardly in the movie, but I love that guy anyway. Of course, Ariana Grande. We got Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, and Michelle Yeoh. So there are many more actors and actresses in this film, but the movie itself, it's not that it's hard to understand, but if you haven't seen the first movie, you're going to be a little lost. It just picks up basically right where we left off with part 1, where the Wicked Witch of the West is being put up as essentially the biggest villain that's ever come into existence. So the Aussians are scared, and then we got Glinda the Good, or Glinda, excuse me, and she's supposed to be like this savior, but it's all a big cycle of propaganda, because who's pulling the strings from behind the scenes? Of course, it is the Wizard of Oz himself, and we have Madame Morrible. So there are characters that should probably have more of an impact in this movie, but we don't feel that, and so much more. But I'm not starting off on a negative note, because even though, yes, I don't like this movie, there are still some things that are like positive takeaways. So let's not start off negative, y'all. Let's get into my positives, and it begins with this: the costume design. My goodness, Paul Tazewell. You won an Oscar last year for Wicked. You're going to win one again for Wicked for Good. I mean, this guy is incredible. I mean, every scene has a unique look. Not one outfit looked too similar to the other. And I loved exactly what he did. And the way he adds to the film with this language of costume design is beautiful. I mean, this movie wouldn't be half as pretty to look at if it wasn't for Paul Tazewell. So I won't be surprised if he wins the Oscar. Honestly, give it to him now. And staying on the similar topic of design, well, the set design in Wicked for Good honestly was pretty darn awesome. There were a lot of moments where visuals popped in this movie, more so I think than the first film. I am not in the camp that thinks the cinematography is absolutely horrendous in both of these movies. I actually found that the movie was speaking and giving more layers through its cinematography and lighting in the first film. I liked how it started off vibrant and it ended up really like bleak. And that's speaking to the narrative of the film, right? But in this sequel, it doesn't do that. Not that that's a bad thing, but the movie is pretty darn bright. So you can see this set perfectly. And I thought that production designer Nathan Crowley, yet again, did something awesome in this film. I'm pretty sure he was the set designer in the first movie, but there are a lot of spectacular scenes that are set in this film, especially in the very first 20 minutes. I'm like, oh man, this looks good. In times when we're in the Emerald City, I'm thinking to myself, this film doesn't look bad. Is it great? No, but it's not really bad to look at. So I'm not in that camp that thinks that this movie looks ugly, because it doesn't. I've seen ugly looking films. Did we all watch some of my least favorite movies this year? Well, I'll release that list in December. But there are instances where I'm thinking, yeah, I get it. Production design, set design, costume design, they're nailing it again. So that's not really a surprise for me, but I'm glad to see that the torch was carried forward for Wicked for Good. Now, when it comes to some of these musical numbers, I don't have many good things to say about that, but there's one, of course. It is the For Good sequence. I thought was performed beautifully. I do still think Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do a good job in this film. They're powerhouses. For me, though, this film is more of a vehicle for Ariana Grande as Glinda than it is Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. Now, Elphaba, I'm Team Elphaba. All right, don't play games. She's right. But there is a good evolution of Glinda's character. At least I can tell there is. Is it executed properly in the script? Absolutely not. But Ariana Grande does a very good job at trying to squeeze the most out of what is otherwise a lackluster script. She shows a wide range here. Is she as funny as she was in the first movie? No. And I think that might be on purpose, because the movie's not supposed to be as funny. It's clearly supposed to be a very dramatic and emotional conclusion to what it is adapting, which is the Broadway play. But man, Ariana Grande did a good job. And there were moments where she's crying and I'm thinking, dang, she deserves that nomination at the Oscars. And both leads sounded great vocally in this movie. At times, they were the only two that sounded good. Actually, I take it back. They are the only two good vocalists in this movie. I'm sorry. None of those other numbers work when anyone other than Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are singing. So I did think that while the movie doesn't necessarily have as many memorable musical numbers, and we'll get into that in a little bit, For Good is good. I thought that number showcased exactly what I was hoping the rest of the movie would deliver on. And when it comes to the beginning of the movie, I actually thought the film got off to a good start. There was about 20 or 30 minutes where I'm thinking, hey, I rated the first movie a 4 out of 5 and I actually enjoyed it. This is going to definitely carry that same momentum forward for the next 2 hours. Boy, I was wrong. My goodness. What could have been for this film? Now, again, this is my opinion, so I'm not speaking like it's fact, but I'm going to start speaking with some confidence here, because we're about to get into the negatives. I'm going to tell you straight up that Wicked for Good is a complete mess. I mean, listen, it gets, stars, of course, and it should be getting some praise and acclaim for its production design, set design, and yeah, Ariana Grande's performance, is pretty good. But the rest of this movie just drags at an abysmal pace. I mean, it is 2 hours of slog. This film just trudges through the mud. And the entire time, I was actually fighting sleep for the most part. After that initial 30-minute stretch, I'm starting to think, what is going on? This is the sequel to a film that actually kind of kept my attention. For example, in the very first film, there's a brief moment in the second act where the film starts to slow down a bit too much and I'm simply getting bored. Now in the sequel, For Good, take that microscopic moment and just stretch it across 2 hours and 18 minutes. That is exactly how Wicked for Good feels. It's a sequel that, to me, tells the audience, hey, we're just going to throw stuff at you and you're going to like it because the first movie. It doesn't do anything exceptional. To me, the movie itself doesn't even warrant a sequel. If this was going to be the sequel, you could have held that in the drafts, because I didn't like exactly how they handled the execution of For Good. It does start in the director's chair, though. I mean, Jon M he's shown he can be talented in The Heights, Crazy Rich Asians, and even the first Wicked I thought he did a good job with. Here, though, I don't know, man. This is a complete miss for him. There's not a lot of style here. And if anything, I feel like the movie cuts way too quickly during certain musical numbers. The drama is not really marinated on. And there are times where I think they're trying to do that, so they throw in an awkward silence. And I'm thinking, are people supposed to clap or cry here? Because the audience did react to most moments, but those awkward silences did not do anything to add to the film. So questionable creative decisions were coming from the director's chair. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, the script is awful. I mean, I can't tell you there's one memorable piece of dialogue in this film. So they're like, you know what? We're going to throw in Dorothy and her shoes and her dog, and we're going to throw in the Tin Man and the lion and the scarecrow. But that doesn't work for me. I mean, I love The Wizard of Oz. I grew up on that film. But this movie is trying to squeeze an ounce or every ounce of nostalgia out of me, and it's not doing a good job of that, and it's not effective. Heck, I didn't even feel nostalgic in this film. And for as much as I love about 90% of the music in the first movie, I can tell you that I maybe only loved 2% of the music in the sequel. Virtually every musical number here lacked any real impact. There were no gut punch moments for me. I didn't even feel connected to these scenes. I mean, there are times when Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are duetting, and I'm like, hey, they can sing. But why am I not connecting with this scene? It just feels like the film doesn't do a very good job at making any of these moments memorable. I left the theater, and I kid you not, I didn't take anything with me. I had no urge to go and add any songs to my Apple Music library come this weekend, and I have no urge to even rewatch this movie. I didn't miss anything. There is nothing here that got me excited and immersed into the film. And for as good as the music is in the first movie, man, I took Popular with me, Defying Gravity, The Wizard and I. And this movie has not a single song that I can tell you is going to hit like the Populars of the world, right? So that was super disappointing for me. And then when it comes to the acting department, outside of Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, there were some really lackluster performances in this film. And I want to start with Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero. I could not buy this romantic subplot between him and Elphaba in the first movie. I thought that was a huge swing and miss for me, and I think it now has a lot to do with the casting. Jonathan Bailey doesn't have real chemistry, I think, with the cast, and I picked up on that in a very particular scene in the second act, where I got a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, ooh, and I'm not giving it away, but I hope that reaction did tell you exactly what I'm talking about. I just have to wonder here, though, what is the hype surrounding him? He was good in Jurassic World Rebirth. That movie's hot trash, but he's good in that movie. And Jonathan Bailey, I think, can deliver a good performance. But he didn't do that here in this movie. And I am questioning, like, what do people see in that department with him? Listen, he's talented, no doubt. But none of his performances have really ever stuck with me to the degree that I can tell you they either stand out or I take it away and it's a memorable performance. Here, it just doesn't work for me. And it doesn't help that a lot of his co-stars also turn in similarly stinking performances. Like Jeff Goldblum, guy's a good actor. I like Jeff Goldblum, honestly. What is he doing in this movie? I don't know what's happening, because at times, I get it. He's not supposed to be taken seriously. But there's a very, very important moment in this movie where you are supposed to be acting seriously, and he turns in what I think is a mockery of the moment. He cannot be serious in this film. I'm sorry. The humor, nothing worked. The jokes did not land. A lot of things fell flat. And I don't know. There's more of an emphasis on his character in this movie, of course. But I kind of wish now there wasn't. And lastly here, gosh, I hate to say this because she is one of my absolute favorite actresses working in Hollywood today. She is so darn talented, okay? But Michelle Yeoh, I love Michelle Yeoh. I think she's great. But it's this particular performance that I just couldn't buy. I think a lot of that has to do with the writing because she's uber talented. But in this movie, I'm sorry, it felt like she was phoning it in. There were sinister sequences, but I didn't buy it. And I hate to say it too, guys. all three of those actors I just listed, they are not great at singing. Again, I'm not here to judge because I clearly can't sing well. But Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, and Michelle Yeoh have musical numbers, of course, and it was like grating Parmesan cheese to my ear, okay? It was rough. I didn't understand why they gave them that much of a spotlight during these musical numbers. I mean, I don't support computer-generated voice work and stuff, but in this instance, I would have, because what was happening? It didn't work for me. It took me out of the film. So, yeah, there were some stinkers in that department. All right, let me move on to at least the last negative that I can remember from the movie. There are many dramatic sequences here. There are emotional moments that had fans crying. So, full disclosure here, mega fans are probably going to love this movie, okay? I've never seen the Broadway play, so I don't have a connection to the movie like many other people do. But there are a lot of moments where I'm like, hey, that sounds like it should have made me emotional, because I'm a softie. But it did not. And I think it's because of the execution, right? The pacing is so sluggish that when we get to a scene that is calling for some tears to come out of your eyes, I was struggling to keep my eyelids open. I literally was at some points fighting off sleep. I was just not moved at all. And I know that makes me sound like a Scrooge, but I'm not, okay? It's just nothing in this film hooked me like its predecessor did. You know, I don't, like I mentioned earlier, the nostalgic moments from The Wizard of Oz did not hook me as well. If anything, I don't think that they felt forced. But let me tell you, you can tell they did not care to properly flesh out that subplot. I mean, honestly, my goodness. There are times where I'm like, hey, can we see the actress's face who's playing Dorothy? Oh, no. Okay, you don't really want to pay her that much? Okay, fine. Because why were there so many darn cuts every time we saw Dorothy? It was weird. The way they framed all of her moments, weird. But that's kind of the crux of the film. A lot of questionable choices here in the sequel, and it all leads to this. I am severely disappointed by this movie, but I'm ready to say, and I don't think anything can change my mind at this point, that Wicked for Good is a film that, in its current state, as it will be released, should have probably been shelved. This is a film that you needed to rework. You might have needed a new screenwriter, to be completely honest with you, but there is no flair like the first movie. This film has zero, in my opinion, to take away that sticks with me. Sure, the costume design looks great, the set design is awesome, and Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande sound amazing together. But the movie has nothing outside of that, because those are what you come to expect after the first film. What is going to deliver in the sequel that will make it memorable? And that is absolutely nothing. It is a movie that, I hate to say it, I'm giving it 2 brooms out of 5. I don't know. Will that upset some people? It probably will. But I am just not the biggest fan of this film. I don't know why some of the creative decisions that were made. I really was hoping for something more, to be completely honest with you. And this movie just fell completely flat, okay? So guys, if you're a huge fan, you're probably going to see this anyway. So let me know in the comments below. What in the world did you think of this movie? Do you agree with me, or do you definitely disagree with me? And also, if you've stuck around this long, hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. And we got a lot more to talk about as the year goes on, guys. All right, it's awards season, so your boy is busy in the movie theater. It's a lot of popcorn I'm eating. Just don't tell my doctor. Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, there you have it. Those are my spoiler-free thoughts on Wicked for Good. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't, also let me know in the comments. But thank you so much for sticking around, and I really hope you're not raising those pitchforks again. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at y'all. Okay, let's just take a beat. Let's breathe together, okay? Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening.